Good.
I think this is on now.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to StudioJake. I, of course, am your host, Jacob Airy. Thank you for joining us. Today, I have a special guest. More on him in just a minute. Before, I want to remind you to like this video, hit that subscribe button, ring that little bell, because we all know YouTube likes to prank people by unsubscribing them to your channel, to your favorite channels, you know, those pranksters. So be sure to ring that little bell. That way you get email notifications when we do videos like this. And today is a very special video. I have my father. He is a pastor in Southeast Texas and Journey Community Church. And he is actually going to join me for this very special episode of Comics, Cartoons, and Coffee, because
we don't have any coffee.
We don't have any coffee. Oh, well, we had coffee earlier, though.
We did.
Okay, so we don't have a cup here with us, but we're going to talk about something that I'm very familiar with, but my dad is not. We're going to be talking about anime. So my dad's a Gen Xer. It's hard to believe, but yes, even though I'm a millennial, I'm a son of a Gen Xer.
I was very young.
So he didn't know this, but when I told him this, he was surprised. But Speed Racer, which is a show you watched as a kid, was actually an anime. And
yeah, we watched it. A little bit.
Yeah, it wasn't like your favorite, right?
My favorite, yeah.
So what I thought would be a fun thing to do while I'm visiting for the holidays is do an episode where I show my dad clips of some famous anime. Now, I am going to show him the English dub version because I want him to be able to focus on the visuals, so those trailers. So because of copyright laws, I can't show you the clips as well. I know some YouTubers get away with that, but that's because they have millions of views. I don't. So I'm going to get flagged right away. So what I'm going to do is whenever we're watching one, I'm going to show the poster of the one I'm showing him. So that way you know what trailer I am. And I've got them all. I've got psychological thrillers. I've got soap operas, science fiction, fantasy. It's going to be a blast. So, and then after I show him the clip, we're going to give you his instant reaction. So are you ready to get started?
Yeah, first off, though, what do you have a vampire on your shirt?
Okay, this isn't a vampire, as everyone is.
He's got teeth.
No, he's actually possessed by a spirit. So, yes.
That makes him grow teeth?
Yes, because it's a fox. In Japanese culture, there's this thing called the nine-tailed fox, and this character is actually possessed by the nine-tailed fox.
Okay.
So this is Naruto.
Now we know.
Now we know. So he's going to be Naruto's actually going to be the honorable mention, but I'm going to show him a couple of other ones first. So first up, I'm going to show Dad Fruits Basket, and
I've never seen any of these before.
No, I picked out ones he had. So there's no Robotech, there's no Transformers. He's actually seen a couple of Gundam episodes, thanks to me and my sister.
Right.
But I'm showing him ones he's never seen before.
Okay.
So
hopefully I'll have a reaction.
Yes. So here we go. First up is Fruits Basket. So as you can see from his face,
what was that?
What? No idea.
What was that? I mean, okay, that was a trailer for
a DVD for the DVD collection. But yeah, so I showed him the first season 1 of the reboot of Fruits Basket.
That's the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. So she didn't know there was a house, then there was a house, and then somebody kicked somebody.
Right. So what's Fruits Basket is, it's about this girl named Toru, and she stumbles upon this house in the woods, and she discovers that when she hugs, or just embraces male members of the family, they turn into animals. And
Cats,
then, right, a cat, a rat, a dog, and so on. It's the Chinese zodiac. And then if boys hug girl members of this family, they also turn into animals. So
permanently?
No, they can turn back.
Oh.
And it's random how long they stay in that state. But so what do you think? What's your reaction? It's what they call a slice of life anime.
I guess my reaction is that it is crazy. It's like nuts. Nothing kind of fit together, and I don't know who's doing what when, and it was all combobulated.
Well, to be fair, that trailer, it was the one for season 1, the DVD box set, so it probably was not like a good trailer, but it was the only one I could find that was dubbed. So, but that's probably why I didn't give a good enough angle on the story and focus more on the antics of the characters.
Let me just say that I don't understand anything about the story having watched the trailer.
Okay, well there we
go. See, you were having to explain everything. It's like, why is that boy turning into a cat? You know?
And so, by the way, for those of you who are watching, for StudioJake subscribers, they know that's actually my wife's. That's actually her favorite anime.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, okay. If I knew something about it. Okay, then.
Well, let's see. All right.
All better.
All right. So now I'm going to show you Attack on Titan, which is sort of a dystopian future kind of genre of anime. So and this one is still going. It's about to go into its final season.
So like the planet Titan.
Well, right, but it takes place on Earth.
Of course it does.
Right.
Okay.
You'll find out. We'll find out why it's called Titan.
Okay.
Attack on Titan.
Well, I thought I knew something, but I didn't. So go ahead.
All right. So, what was your reaction to Attack on Titan?
Well, that's a lot more coherent, right? So you can tell this is like a giant. He's attacking this city or planet or whatever it is, and so. But in general, I will say that this is probably what I was seeing there is probably the reason why I'm not a big fan of that, even though that would look like a good story. It's just so much sheer movement, you know, and so you have all the blur effect and everything like that. But that looked like a good story. You know, that looked like that would be a good story.
It's actually, right now it's going into its final season. Its final season starts this month, I think. And it's considered visually, like you were saying, and which is why the trailer was showing it off. I showed him the trailer for season 1, by the way, so y'all know, because I didn't want him to get lost in some, because, you know, you saw that giant Titan, and there were some that were smaller. Well, they have like almost mutant type Titans that appear that they have to fight later on, and I thought that one would be more, you know, introducing to the Colossal Titan because it's kind of the most famous one of the show. But yeah, it's considered one of the most visually stunning anime for its effects and motion and whatnot, which is why the trailer was showing it off.
Well, yeah, I figured that's got to be something that people like this genre. So yeah, it makes sense.
Okay. Up next, I'm going to show him Death Note, and this is considered, just so you know, Dad. Well, actually, no, I don't want to skew your thinking. I'll tell you after you watch it. But I'm going to show him Death Note, and this is actually one that Netflix adapted, and everyone hated the live action adaptation. They made it a live action movie, and everyone hated it.
Okay.
So just to give you an idea on the fan base of this, so this is what we would consider a psychological thriller show. All right, so I just showed him Death Note. What did you think about that one?
Well, I could see why they would want to make that into a live action. I've not seen the live action version of that. That was pretty good, really. I mean, it kind of draws you in.
I'm actually pleased to hear you say that. This is considered one of the greatest animes ever made. It's really short too. I think it's less than 30 episodes. So it was short and sweet. Everyone loved it. But yeah, it's basically this guy. His name is Light, and a Grim Reaper, what's in the show is called a Shinigami, gives him this book that allows him to be the Grim Reaper. And at first, he just kills criminals. He uses it in a good way, but then he has to start killing innocent people to protect his secret, because that guy who had the computerized voice, his name is L, and he's a detective, and and it's his job to find the person who is doing this, because I think you heard in the trailer he says, I have to find Kira. That's the name Light uses whenever he does a death. He gives credit to Kira. A lot of people compare it to Sherlock Holmes and Moriarty, just with a supernatural twist.
The only thing that I would say about it is that would be, you know, maybe a critique of it is, you know, who actually talks to themselves like that? So, you know, it's kind of interesting. It's like, I'll never be found. I will never be, you know, defeated. I mean, no one thinks like that or talks like that. I mean, I know why they're doing it. They're doing it to tell me things, the viewer, but it's kind of an interesting that they're kind of using that cheesy, what would that be, like the fourth wall kind of thing? Well,
in the show, it's more obvious that it's contemplative.
Right.
But I think that was just for the trailer. In fact, I mentioned it was a live action film it was kind of funny because in the live action film, it was criticized because you couldn't hear Light's thoughts. And the actor who played Light wasn't a very good actor. And so people were like, I don't know what he's thinking during this time. And whatnot.
Clear enough.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, one of the things I do like about it is it illustrates, and I've talked about this on StudioJake, is it illustrates that man can't be God, because when you're giving this kind of power, like the power over someone's life and death, you as a human, you're corrupted by your own your own desires and your own bias, and it leads to tragedy, which is what happens in Death Note.
And the will to survive.
And the will to survive,
right.
Yeah, exactly.
So you have to defend.
So
yeah, that was pretty interesting.
All right. So up next, I'm going to show him Cowboy Bebop, which is, of course, considered, it's another one that's very highly ranked whenever people do lists of greatest animes. It's another one that's no longer, they're not making any new episodes, they ended it. But this is a science fiction one, and I wanted Dan to see it, but Cowboy Bebop, which is going to also have a Netflix adaptation that no one asked for and no one wanted. So here we go, Cowboy Bebop.
Very violent.
Yes, it is a very violent show.
Wow.
They're bounty hunters.
They're bounty hunters. Okay. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that looked incredibly violent, and also the fast-paced motion kind of stuff again. But yeah. No.
A lot of people who aren't familiar with anime have called it like it's sort of like a reverse Star Trek, because in Star Trek humanity's uplifted, and this one it takes place around the same time Star Trek would, but humanity's actually in an economic downturn and all this, and there's like evil organizations and all this, but and then the main character Spike, which is kind of funny, he's voiced by Steve Blum in the English version. Here's a little bit of fun fact, but in Japan, it's actually one of the few English dubs that's popular in Japan, because both the Japanese actor and the English actor, they really owned the part of Spike, who was the guy with the hair that stuck out like this.
Mm-hmm. And it takes place at the same time that Star Trek would take place.
Yeah, like the first series. Yeah, it's like the 24th century. So there's like gambling planets, and like I said, they're bounty hunters. Spike and Jet have been together forever, and then in the show they pick up the dog, the girl genius, and then Faye, who was the girl with the purple hair.
Why is it that these anime shows, they all seem to allow the characters to have, just almost all the characters, they seem to have like a superhuman ability? So you got people that are straight kicking over someone's head.
Well,
they can claw their way up the side of a...
Well, don't forget, this one's sci-fi, so that this one's going to have a lot of that.
Well, I'm just saying, it seems like everybody is like almost like a superhero.
Yeah, that is actually a common theme in anime, where the main character has like this really incredible strength. They're savant at fighting. That's actually not that uncommon.
Well, I mean, all those characters had stuff that they could do.
Oh, well, yeah, well, Jet is a cyborg.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, though, you wouldn't be able to do most of the things that they're just routinely doing in the show.
Yeah, it's called fiction. Science fiction. I'm just messing with you, Dad.
Well, I mean, though, in science fiction, though, it wouldn't be normal to have all the characters have these superhuman abilities. That's not normal for science fiction.
That's true, but in also...
Unless it was about superheroes.
But also in Cowboy Bebop, though, like, it's not just the main characters have these abilities, like, everyone has these abilities.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying it's kind of common, seems like.
Yeah, it is very common. You're right.
I guess you're taking advantage of the fact that this is a drawing. So in a drawing, you can make that happen. Right,
for sure. Okay, gang, so up next, I'm going to show Dad my favorite anime, which is a newer one, The Rising of the Shield Hero. Everyone who has read my website and has seen this vlog, y'all know it's my favorite, so I'm curious how Dad is going to... Now, this one is a little different because the other trailers, they were at least, 1.5 to 2 minutes long. For some reason, Crunchyroll made the English dub trailer only 40 seconds, so I'm actually hoping Dad will be able to glean a little bit what the story is about. Here we go. So, what'd you think of that one?
Yeah, it's very similar to me. I mean, obviously, it's like somebody who listens to rock and roll and says it's all the same, but it's very similar to me in the sense that you've got that blurred background action, and then the quick focus changes. The camera angle is shifting very, very quickly, and whatever you would, it almost seems like whatever you would normally maybe hide in a live action, this expands it, it illustrates it, it cuts it to the biggest thing.
Mhm.
So like in a regular show, somebody's head is getting cut off. You might not show that. You might show the head rolling, something
Right.
like that. But here we're going to see every part of it, right? We're going to see all of it. So it's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, this one I really like because it's not even for an anime, it's not that typical. The main character, he's from our world, and he gets pulled into this other dimension, and with four other guys, and one has a sword, one has a shield, one has a bow, but he has a shield. And so they're all kind of making fun of him because he gets stuck with the shield, and he finds out because they're all from other dimensions, and he finds out in their dimensions this world is a video game, but in his world it was a novel, and so when he opened up the novel, he got pulled into it.
Wow.
So then he gets framed for a crime. That was the whole betrayed and cast out thing. And then his girl sidekick, Raftalia, she's part animal. They call them demi-humans, I think, in the show. So he takes her on because he needs someone to be his sword. So it's very, it's one of my favorite animes just because it's such a different anime. Whereas anime, the character, he's usually established. Like Dad was pointing out, they're usually already powerful with... his real name is Naofumi. With Naofumi, he's not like that. In fact, the show, I don't know if you're familiar with the term nerfing, but they nerf him a great deal. That's where you're built up and then something happens to knock you back down. That happens a lot to poor Naofumi through the whole show. It's a really great hero's arc. So we've got one more.
Okay.
And this is the honorable mention because since I decided to wear the Naruto shirt, I thought I would get Dad to react to Naruto, see what he thinks about this.
Naruto.
So I just want to state for the record that trailer I didn't realize that it gave nothing to the story. So poor Dad probably has no idea what the story is even about. Again, it's just a bunch of quick chopped scenes up from the first arc.
So are they all possessed by animals? What's that?
No. There's let's see. Okay, I think there's 9. There's 9 specific ninjas, and the part of the plot of Naruto is there's this cult that are going around and capturing the ninja that are possessed by the tailed beast.
But they all have some oddity about their person.
Yes, like Naruto, he does this move called the Bazingan, I believe it's called, and then which is just a ball of energy. Then he has a friend named Sakura, and she can heal people.
But I mean, like even their eyes are different.
Yeah,
one of them had like a cat thing going on in his face.
Yes, there's some of them they have this, I can't remember what is it called, but some of them their eyes can turn red, and each one of those they're like even more powerful than just the regular ninja. So, in fact, Kakashi, who is Naruto's captain in the show, he is a lot of people. The creators of Naruto got a little frustrated when the anime premiered because it's based on a manga, so a book series. And a lot of people were frustrated because fans of the show like Naruto's captain better than Naruto. Because he's honestly just a really great, cool character. But it's like ninja, and this one's more for teenagers. Like it's made for a teenage audience.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's very, it's all fantasy driven. Again, you've got the situation where you have these superpowers and the background is moving. It occurs to me that it would be, if this was a movie and you shot an actual movie and you shot the movie, everyone would be thrown up because the backgrounds are just flashing. So, it would be like somebody literally holding a camera and just spinning around.
Now, I actually do think there are a few Naruto episodes that do have like a vertigo warning.
See, that's what I'm saying. I think that it's just interesting to me that you're rather than, I mean, the characters are moving, but you're not relying on just the characters' movement to drive the story forward and make it feel like action. And it seems to me like they're going to a lot of trouble to get that feeling of action, even though there's plenty of action, so it's kind of like it's really driving to make it feel like something is happening, even though plenty is already happening.
I gotcha.
So if we were shooting a movie, for example, and I'm not a producer, but or director, but if you were shooting a movie, if you've got a lot of action, they will go to a lot of trouble to not let the background move. They want all the focus on the characters themselves. So, you'll have you have a fight that takes place, and if there's people in the bar, like, they're not doing anything. If you notice that, or if they're outside, there's not like animals passing by, or
Well, and they usually do that for like what you're talking about when there's like power ups, so there's a bigger effect of this is how strong they are getting in this moment. So let me ask you: were there any ones that you liked enough that you would say I could see myself sitting down and watching this?
Probably not.
None of them.
No,
Zero. Okay.
Yeah, it's just like it's just over. There's too much happening all at one time, for me. And also just the whole cartoon kind of thing. That's not.
My dad's not really into animation.
I'm not. Yeah, honestly. So I grew up on Bugs Bunny and Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote and that kind of stuff, and so that's very, very different.
I did too.
From what you're talking about here.
Right.
So,
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. They actually try to make serious shows. Obviously, Merry Melodies and all that are meant to be humorous. There is humor in anime, but a lot of those shows are meant to be like serious shows, like in lieu of a live action thing.
But it's probably worse than that because I'm not a Pixar fan, or I wouldn't sit down and watch Buzz Lightyear.
It's kind of funny because my poor parents, I put them through so much animation growing up because I am a huge animation fan. So yeah, they got to anything that came out, I wanted to rent it. And at one point, but to my dad's credit, he always, he never discouraged that hobby. And you're like, you know what, you want to see it, I'll take you, let's go see it.
Sure.
We actually ended up having a good time, but I think it was more because it was a father-son outing than anything.
And I would sit down and watch it, but I'm just saying it probably wouldn't.
But you wouldn't seek it
on
out
myself. If you gave me 10 choices and this was.
So which one was your favorite? Without any prompt from me, which one would you say? Did you have a favorite of the ones I showed you?
I think that probably the one I liked was the last one.
You did like Naruto the best?
Yeah, I think I liked it the best because I just felt like it. Well, and you're only showing me a trailer, so it's difficult for me to pick up a lot from that. But that looked like a story I could follow and kind of see what was going on.
Which one was your least favorite?
Probably the one that had the people that were animals and stuff.
Oh, when the girl hugged them and they turned.
Yeah.
Okay, so Fruits Basket.
Basket.
That doesn't surprise. It's a very girly show.
Oh, okay.
To be honest, I showed it to him to torture him a little bit.
Oh, thank you.
But
I need a little torture.
But all right, well, and that's all the time we have for the day, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. Of course, you can find me on Facebook. It's author Jacob Berry. Parler, Instagram, and Twitter. It's all at Real Jacob Berry. Let's see, what am I forgetting? Oh, go to my website, StudioJakeMedia.com, where I have even more anime content. I also talk about comic books, film, television, and all kinds of stuff. And also head over to Journey Community Church on Facebook. It's in Lumberton, Texas. Give my dad a like. He uploads all of his sermons, so you can also check those out on Facebook, and they're also on YouTube as well. Am I forgetting anything?
No, that's it.
All right. Well, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you right here next time on Studio Jake.